and the next prophet, we have these connectors, these people to carry on the mission. And so we have a continuous chain from Adam until our prophet of people like this. And we have no idea what the number is. I don't think we have any, I haven't seen any prediction of the numbers of how many of these intermediate people there were. Joshua, for example, Yusha ibn Nun, he's referred to as a boy, the boy who was along with Moses when he goes on his quest to find Khidr. Are you familiar with the story? It's Surah Al-Kahf. Musa goes out to find, he's told by God that there's a person who has knowledge, and he will find him at the place where these two pieces of bodies of water meet. So he takes along this boy, this is referred to in the Quran. We know from other sources that he's Joshua, right? In Arabic called Yusha ibn Nun. And he was the successor of Moses. He wasn't a prophet, but he's the one, after Moses dies during the 40-year kind of wandering of the Jews, he dies during that time. They don't actually succeed in entering Jerusalem because of their own stubbornness again. Joshua is the one who carries on the mission, and he finally gets them, takes them into Jerusalem to settle down there. Right, so that's a common story with the Bible, the Old Testament, and we also have that same story.
So Joshua is also in 1,24,000.
No, he's not a prophet. He's not one of the 124,000 prophets. He's one of the Osiyat, the successors to the prophets, to carry on the message. The idea behind this is that Allah always, He promises us in Ahadith that He'll always leave a hujjah on earth. The hujjah is this, it's kind of like an incriminating evidence. He'll leave evidence there so that no one has an excuse to say, I didn't know. Right? So if there's a period where there's no guide and there's no help and no one's teaching us, then we can claim that we didn't know at that point. And so if that's the case, then we have an excuse against God, and we can say, you didn't teach us properly, that's why we didn't know. That's why we didn't obey. So he in short, he constantly sends a guide after a guide, whether it be a prophet or these successors, to be there to guide us.
So where does that leave us?
Right now? Right now, these guides, they have two functions. Right, one function is to actually guide us in a kind of obvious way, where they actually teach us and stuff like that. That's suspended right now. That is suspended, and it's suspended because of a secondary reason. The secondary reason is because the Imam himself is in danger. If he was to reappear now, he would definitely be killed. He would have been killed if he had been alive in an obvious way at that time. So he was protected like that. He still fulfills his other functions though. He's still a witness over us. Whatever those other unseen functions are that an Imam and a Prophet fulfill, the Imam is still fulfilling those, Imam Mahdi. But he doesn't have this obvious, kind of obvious role of actually teaching us and answering our questions. And we see the effect of that. And how many questions do we have to which we don't have the answer? Even our mujtahids, they don't have the answer to everything. That's why they end up having to give a precaution. They say ihtiyat wajib to do something. And ihtiyat wajib means I don't have the answer. The evidence isn't conclusive. So I'm going to tell you, if you do this duty, then you'll have definitely fulfilled your obligation. But I'm not sure if you have to go that far. You could maybe have done less, but I don't have evidence to tell you to do less. I'm going to tell you to do a little bit more, go a step further. If you do that, then you definitely fulfilled your obligation. Right? That's what ihtiyat wajib is basically an admission, a flag saying, I don't know. So all this, just think of the government. One of the roles of all of our prophets and our Imam in particular was to establish a just government. And we see that it's not possible. It's not humanly possible to do this by ourselves without the hand of God. All human experiments in government are failures. We might get, might do something good in certain governments, but we end up absolutely failing to protect people's rights, to establish truth, to establish a society that's just and all sorts of things. We're failures at doing that by ourselves. We need the Imam to come back and do that. Okay? So without him, we're suffering. If we don't realize that we're suffering, it's because we're heedless. But we are suffering without the Imam. Right? So we should feel that sort of void when we don't have the presence of the Imam. But he is still fulfilling those other functions. He is alive on earth, but we don't see him. Because he's been hidden from people's views and for his own protection.
Is Muhammad the last prophet? According to the Quran?
Yes. Muhammad Rasulullah says, ما كان محمد أبا أحد من رجاله ولكن رسول الله وخاتم النبيين. He wasn't. He was a messenger, and he was the end, the seal of all the prophets. first question, I don't think you have an answer. I definitely don't know the answer. You should ask, what's the wisdom behind having Jesus, live this way? Why not just end his life and bring another person after him? Why suspend his life and then bring him back at the other time? So I don't know the answer. I've never seen any attempt to answer that question. The second one. To have other people inspired by God as well. Is it possible to have other people inspired now during the time of Imam Mahdi? Inspired in the meaning of like Maryam, for instance, like Ashab al-Kahf, like some of these righteous people. Yeah, there's nothing that says it's impossible. Whether it happens or not, like people have dreams, for instance. There are righteous people who will have dreams, and they're true dreams. And most of us, we have dreams. The Quran calls them adghafu ahlam. They're like, this is a big mush of all sorts of thoughts. You're at home and all of a sudden you turn around and there's a lion there. You turn this way and your peanut butter and jelly. Like it's just a random jumble of things because we're so jumbled. And we're always thinking about different things. We don't focus on anything properly. In our prayers we don't focus. Because of that, even our dreams are like that. But they're righteous people who are very, very focused on what's good, on Allah Himself. And so as a gift, sometimes they'll give them a dream, for instance. It couldn't be as much as just he might be able to see a prophet or see the imam or something like that, or he might get a small prophecy of something, something's going to happen, like things like that. He can gift them those sorts of things. So there's nothing far-fetched about that. There are lots of stories. Again, like these sorts of things. It's not our job to corroborate and say yes, this person's true in claiming that he saw the dream. I don't have any way of knowing whether he saw the dream or not. I can't corroborate. All I should say is that it's possible. There's nothing impossible about someone seeing a dream the way Joseph did in the Quran. Whether that actually happens, it's up to only Allah knows whether someone actually sees those dreams. But it's possible. No one's going to have guidance, right? This inspiration that comes, even like Sayyidah Fatima, for instance, she received a book. Right? We have a hadith that say that she actually was Gabriel after the Prophet died. She only lived for a few months after our Prophet died. She was injured by Umar, and then she died very shortly after that. During that time, she was mourning for her father's death, and Gabriel actually came and narrated the book to her. And the hadith say that he told her, and Ali alayhi salam actually wrote it for her. And so there's actually it's called Mushaf Fatima. Now, this Mushaf Fatima is not a new Quran or a new form of guidance or something like this. Nothing like that. She's not a prophet. That wasn't her job. It was simply things to console her, the predictions of what's to come, the hardships that people are going to face in their family, and then probably promises as well to give her hope that the Mahdi will be for your progeny, and these victories will happen for your Shia and so forth. So whatever was, we don't know what's included. It wasn't for us. It was for her specifically. So sometimes Sunnis, when they hear things like this, they say, "Oh, see the Shias, they believe in another prophet. They believe Fatima's a prophet." Right? Absolutely not. That's not what we believe, and the ahadith don't claim that.